ones that throw the rest in the garbage.
You're not the principal here anymore. And if you come back tomorrow and you try, you're going home with a body bag.
James Belushi
I'll be here tomorrow.
and Louis Gossett Jr.
Hey, Rick. I'll be here too, man.
in The Principal.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 1987 classic James Belushi film, The Principal. The film is directed by Christopher Kane and it stars James Belushi, or Jim Belushi, Lou Gossett Jr., Rodon Chong and Michael Wright. The film follows James Belushi's character Rick Latimer. He is a school teacher. At the beginning of the film, he has an altercation with his ex-wife's new boyfriend. It gets him in trouble with the school board. However, rather than punish him or fire him, they offer him a promotion to be the principal at a school that nobody wants to be principal at, mainly because it is a violent, crime-ridden school. He has no choice but to accept the position. He arrives at the school and it is everything he feared. It's a war zone. Most of the kids aren't there to learn. There are gangs, there are drugs, there's crime, and there's one person in particular at the school who is the core problem of everything, and it is a guy called Victor Duncan. James Belushi's character Rick decides he's going to make a school out of this place, and with the help of Lou Gossett Jr. and Rodon Chong's characters, they work together with the rest of the teachers to try and make the school workable. However, this inevitably leads to a direct confrontation with Victor Duncan. Right. What are my thoughts on The Principal? Well, I've always been quite a big fan of this film. I used to watch this all the time back in the day, back in the late 80s, early 90s. I remember having this on VHS, watching it over and over again, sort of thing. Mainly because at the time, I think a lot of people forget that Jim Belushi, or James Belushi, was quite a big star in the late 80s and 90s. But this was arguably, debatably, his breakout role. He'd done things before this. He was known, but he wasn't a star, if you like. He wasn't considered a leading man. And after this, he pretty much went on to do Red Heat and K9, and his career kind of took off, really, after that. But I think this was the film that showed that he could be a leading man, and he had not only the acting chops to do it, but he had the screen charisma and charm to do it as well, because you would never kind of class James Belushi as a comedian, so to speak, but he's a very talented comedic actor, but he can also pull off the tough guy stuff as well, as he's proven in films like K9, Red Heat and this. You know, he's quite believable in that sense. And while he doesn't walk around in this film and behave like a tough guy, his morals are so strong and centered that he will not stand for any violence or anything like that happens in his school. He will stand up for those that need support and need protection. So it makes his character in this film quite compelling, because he's, like I say, he's so morally centered, but also at the same time he's highly entertaining to watch, because you've got the Jim Belushi wisecracks coming out of him at the same time. So, you know, you'll get one scene where it's a lighter scene where he is being humorous and funny, and then the next scene, you know, you see him toughening up and doing something what you described as action orientated in the film. I think today this film would be a difficult film to make because of all the political correctness that goes on these days, but also at the same time, it's a film that's very difficult to get right tonally, because, you know, you've got one side of this film is like quite a dark thriller in a sense. I've got this violent school full of drugs, crime, guns, rape, everything. And then you've got another side of this film where it blends in bits of action, but also it blends in comedy at the same time. And that would be very, very, very difficult to get right on a lot of different levels today. But when you watch this film, it absolutely works, and it works very, very well. It's superbly supported by Lou Gossett Jr., one of my favourite actors. He plays like the head of security at the school. Most of the students respect him. And he is constantly kind of watching James Belushi's back in this film, trying to keep him safe and protected. And they build this quite strong bond throughout the film. And it's really charming to see as well. It's one of those films where you see him getting through to some of the students, some of the kids in the school, the ones that at the beginning of the film you feel are untouchable, they're not interested in education. You know, by the end of the film, he's got quite a few of them on board, and they want to be different, they want to learn, they want an education. So there's lots of stuff going on in this film, really. But also at the same time, there's some quite tough scenes to watch. Like brutal scenes. There's a scene of attempted rape here in the film that is quite dark and brutal in how it's done. There's a scene where a student that he is making a connection with, who used to be part of a gang, is brutally beaten up and kind of left as a trophy for James Belushi's character to find. So there is a lot going on in this film. It's one of those films that when you kind of hear it, it's kind of hard to explain everything that goes on in this film, because, like I say, it blends so many different genres, but it manages to kind of balance everything really nicely, with like the dark side of it, the brutal side of it, the criminal and the violence and it feels quite gritty and grounded at the same time. But also then you've got this other side where it leans heavily into the lighter, humorous side. Because I think if they'd have just done like a hard-hitting drama stroke thriller, this film would have probably been a really tough watch. As it is a very, very entertaining watch, with the way that they've chosen to present this film. It's a really fun film from the 80s. It's a really good film in James Belushi's filmography. For me, it's like I said, it's the film that kind of, I think, put him on the map. And it's just a really nice watch. It's a few years since I've seen it, and I have to say, rewatching it for this review, I thoroughly enjoyed it. And implore you guys to check it out if you have never seen it. So that's my thoughts on The Principal. Let me know your thoughts. It actually got me thinking as well when I'd finished watching this. I know not long after this film in the 90s, there were them films that came out, the Substitute films with Tom Berenger, certainly the first one, that I always felt like were cheap rip-offs of this, but I'm actually going to give them a go because I like Tom Berenger. So I'm going to try the Substitute films and see if they do compare to this film in any way. Are they similar to this film in some ways? Let me know if you know anything about the Substitute films. Do they compare to this film? And as always, guys, I will be back with plenty more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.